Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. So I'm going to tell you about my first time flying with Frontier Airlines. I had never even heard of Frontier, or maybe I've never paid attention when I've gone to the airport. But my mom ended up booking our tickets, and she was saying, you guys want to go to Texas for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, because they're notorious for going Spirit, and I just will not fly Spirit. I've never flown Spirit, but I've heard so many horror stories behind Spirit, especially from my cousin who complains about them each and every time. But she continues to go Spirit just because it's, you know, financially feasible for her. She has 2 kids, so I can understand that. But the horror stories she's told me, I'm like, no. So I'm like, if long as it's not on Spirit, yeah, I'll go. And then they're like, okay, we booked the flight. And I'm like, okay, but well, who? And they're like, Frontier. And I'm like, okay, never heard of them. So as it gets closer to us departing, like 2 weeks out, I'm like, I don't even know who Frontier is. So I'm like, am I able to bring on a bag and my purse, and are there going to be refreshments? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And don't bring carry-on because you're going to pay for it. And don't bring a check bag because you're going to pay for it. And you're going to be charged for everything, just like Spirit. I'm like, okay. So I went onto YouTube, did a couple Google researches, and I was like, well, I'll be doggone. This is just like Spirit, just with a different name. I was so anxious, so upset, like, oh my God, Lord, just get me there and back, and I won't ever. So I did a search, and it was a week old video. The video was of horrible turbulence. I'm gonna leave a link to that video, and please guys go watch it. And just imagine you having a flight in like 4 days, 5 days out with the same airline, and then you'll see why I was stressing out. Not only that, there were a couple videos that I watched, and they're like, the seats are hard, you know, they charge you for everything, there's not enough room, this, that, and the other, but it's inexpensive, and if you love to travel, then, you know, long as your flight is not 3 hours or longer, you should be fine. I travel there all the time. They told me, you know, which bag I would need in order to avoid the fees, and so that was great and all. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And like they had legit horror stories. And I'm in the comments like, you're laughing about this? Like, I don't understand. So the day comes, and, you know, off we go. And I pull up, and there's nobody even outside. Like, I guess they don't expect nobody to check your luggage. I know, like with Southwest, you can check it from outside, put it on the weight thing, and it's tagged. Like, nobody was outside at the little Frontier booth. They did have a display where you can put your luggage in, and that will give you an idea if your thing is gonna fit. So we check in and everything, and we're waiting, and we aboard the plane. And it's pretty big. It's a nice sized plane. The seats look nice and clean. They're not plush, but they weren't hard as a rock. So that was okay. And it was pretty spacious for me. I'm 5'6", and I had a lot of foot room and leg room, even with this up under there. There was turbulence, but not as much as the video I had watched. Thank you, God. But I want to say like 30 minutes into the flight, they started doing refreshments, and there was one person making the drinks or taking the orders, and the other person with a pad, and they were charging everybody. My little Diva and I, well, you guys know, I don't know if you know, but I have to plan, like I have to have plans. So I went to Dollar Tree. I got the little 5-packs of the peanuts because they charge for everything. That's what they told me. I mean, every video I watched. So I got some peanuts. I got the 5 packs of pretzels. I had some little beef jerky, like the Slim Jims, some hard candy. We had our water bottles. We were set, okay? So I didn't want no issues. So they get to our area, and my aunt, she was highly upset because she was traveling with my mom, and my mom was like so last minute, so the polar opposite. I'm on time. I know what to expect. No, she's like, just go with the flow type of person, not me. So my aunt was upset because she wanted to stop by the store, get her snacks, this and that. And so the flight attendant came by, and they were like, would you like anything? And she was like, no, but how much is it for ice water? And they were like, oh, nothing. And they had Dasani water, which I had heard of Frontier like 4 weeks before our flight, and the only thing that I knew is they had the best water of all the airlines. They had the best tap water, but they weren't using tap water. They were using Dasani. That was what a poll had said from all the flights of the waters on the airlines, that they had the best. Spirit had the worst. But that was out of everybody, Delta, American. But anyway, so they gave her ice water. Little Diva and I had ice from Starbucks. So they filled up Little Diva's ice cup with ice and water, no problem. And there was not much turbulence. We landed, everything was safe. On our way back home, it was the same type of plane. It was a larger plane, and I guess they have smaller planes, and their smaller planes are more uncomfortable. But yeah, the stewardess, or flight attendants, they were really, really kind. Little Diva went and she sat with the pilots. She sat in one of the pilots' chairs. She asked questions. They answered her questions on how the plane flew and all of that stuff. And then we proceeded to our seats, and it was much different flying from Las Vegas to Texas than it was flying from Texas to Vegas. Even though it wasn't a late flight, it was kind of late. It was like 9 o'clock. But they did refreshments like 20 minutes in. They did it much faster, but they did not have the cart and the beverages up and down the aisle with them. They just came down the aisle. It was like, do you guys want anything, like ready to charge you? And so not many people placed orders. So I guess they didn't even bother bringing out the refreshments. So Little Diva was sleepy. She didn't even ask. Usually on your way flying into Vegas, it's always turbulence, especially going over the mountains in the desert valley. It's like always turbulence. It doesn't matter if it's American Airlines or Southwest, any of them. So I was expecting the worst going home, and I was highly surprised that it was not bad at all. I mean, it was a lot less turbulence than I've had on any other airline, to be honest. And the only thing that was like a really bumpy was the landing in Vegas. But other than that, it was pretty good job. Like at first, before I even got on the plane, I was like, I'm never flying Frontier again. I can't believe they booked me on this flight. Like, so upset. Now that I've experienced, I can say that I would fly on Frontier again. I would book with them again. Hopefully nothing long, and hopefully I will always have one of the larger planes, because I believe like the larger planes is where they have a more cushioned seat. Like it's not anything compared to American Airline or Delta. And that was another thing too, is that the seats don't recline back. But even when I'm on a plane that does recline back, I never do. I don't know why. I don't know what. I guess it's just more comfortable for me to sit up. Because when you recline back, it only reclines back 2 inches anyway. So it's like, it doesn't even make a big difference. So I never recline back. I guess if you're in like, what you call it, first class, then that would make a big difference on the recline. But I never recline back, so I didn't have an issue with the not reclining back. Also, a couple tips, like if you're much taller, people were saying you can always request it, you can request a seat, which they charge you for, which we didn't. We never requested a seat. We didn't pay for extra seats, because I was like, I'm already not happy being here, and like, you're not gonna get another dime from me. So I don't think I would request seats unless like I was going on an extended flight, and then maybe I would request one of the seats. But yeah, I mean, they do charge you for everything, but this was able to get on without any charge. And now that I know, I can bring a small crossbody purse along with me, as long as it's on you. They don't seem to mind. So yeah, check out that video though, you guys. Like, check that video out, and you'll understand my panic and my reservation on getting on a Frontier plane. And I was like, I heard that I was complaining and whining pretty much. It was like, why would you guys book this flight? And everybody's saying like it's made out of tin. It's like not even stable. So I had to make sure I was prayed up, and I asked you guys for prayers and safety. And it was like, me, Lil Diva and I got on that plane. I'm like, come here, we're praying. So I'm so grateful that everything worked out for the better. And I'm glad I over exaggerated and not under exaggerated, and then had to be, an exaggerated story. So thankfully it wasn't that wasn't the case. Let me know if you've ever flown Frontier. What was your experience like? And yeah, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.